Hello, everybody. This is some Palmy Bastard from Toronto, introducing you to a band that plays music that you've probably never heard before. This is a band from Iqaluit, which is so far north, I didn't know in Canada where that was. And they said, well, go to Montreal, turn left, and keep going for 2,200 kilometers. They are from the Arctic Circle. They sing in the native language of the people who live there. They mix reggae, pop, funk, folk, Celtic, whatever. This is their second trip to Australia. They played Woe Adelaide last year. They played the Port Fairy Festival, and they're going on next weekend to play Blue Mountain. It's a real pleasure to introduce you to Northern Canada's most amazing band. Please welcome the Jerry Cans.
I'm Mike, and I play the accordion, and I throat sing for the Jerry Cans.
My name is Andrew Morrison, and I sing and play guitar with the Jerry Cans.
If some of you were at Port Fairy, maybe you remember it's Aliane! Aliane! One last time, Aliane! Well, sometimes it asks what we're trying to do. I don't mind. Well, just singing these songs and keep going through. I don't mind. Well, I'm shining again after almost every single day. I don't mind. Well, I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't mind. Well, and every time I'm trying to speak, my sentences say my name, my grammar's got to be. And every time I look in my daughter's eyes, I know in my heart that I just have to keep on.
When our drummer actually tried to build a drum kit out of Jerry Cans. The sound was terrible, but the name stuck around, and it's kind of a metaphor for freedom in our personal perspective, where we come from, we use jerry cans often to kind of fuel up our snowmobiles or our motors in our boats, and it takes us out on the land, and we always have that freedom to just enjoy the land and have a good time, and it's yeah, that's kind of who we are.
Yeah. play music since we were 10 years old, just jamming out in the garage. And then Nancy joined the band about 6 years ago, and we started to kind of switch from playing cover songs and rock and roll and punk rock and stuff to kind of looking around our community and seeing where we could gain inspiration from. And there's lots of complicated stuff, and so we kind of sing songs of our community. So we're a folk band, I guess, in that use of the term, but we're a very kind of a loud folk band, if you can say that. So yeah, and then Nancy, we started to experiment, bringing throat singing into everything, and it's been very cool, and it's kind of brought us all over the world, which is interesting. So yeah, that's a bit about that.
We sing lots of songs from where we live, and we sing in language. And the guy who's kind of been the biggest influence on my learning whatever Inuktitut I know, that's the name of the language, is Nancy's late father, who passed away about 3 years ago from cancer. And cancer is kind of becoming an epidemic up north. I don't know if it's the same thing here, but it's awful, and fuck cancer. But he was born, colonization happened much more recently where we live than in a lot of places, and in Australia as well. But so he was born in an igloo vigak, what you know as an igloo, a snow house, and he never knew his own birthday because he was born before birthdays were recorded very officially in that way of keeping time. And he had 17th, and he was a very, very, very funny guy. If he was here, he'd be buying us beers. And he lived such an amazing life, and he was very, very much a revolutionary in his own way, because he was so strong in making sure Nancy spoke Inuktitut and I spoke Inuktitut, blah, blah, blah. And we have 2 daughters, and obviously when Nancy started dating a white dude, this was a big ripple, not a ripple, but it was something to talk about within the family. We had actually his first fair-skinned grandchild, our first daughter Vivi, so he loved her very, very, very much. And she was about 6 months old when he passed away, and when all of this was happening, I was trying to figure out how to kind of relate his life to our children. And so I wrote this song to kind of just explain a little bit about, I want them to know where they come from. So this is called Accordion. Panikulu girl, this song's for you, about a man who loved you so, the one you call it to. And though these words not his mother tongue, I choose these words so we can tell the world just where you're from. Well, he was born, house built of snow. His real birthday, he never did quite know. He lived his life trying to be a good man. All he knew was his land. There's not much more to say, or I take my last trip down the bay with the mountains in my eyes. And all I ask is that you take me home today. All I ask is that you take me home today. Well, he grew up by a sea of home, walking the mountains, hunting caribou. The land completed his soul. The things he knew, learned from those who dance in the sky. But though he's gone, he's not forgot. See it in your eyes. Damn government folks try to rein him in. Tell him where to hunt, tell him go to school. They taught him that he's sin. They led a revolution every day by speaking his tongue, refusing school, and feeding his family. There's not much more to say, for I take my last trip down the bay last things he said. Raised my granddaughter well, so she speaks my tongue, knows my land, knows the way that it tastes and it smells. Last things he said to you in return. Akulu, my dear granddaughter, I love you in return.
We live in a place called Iqaluit, which is the capital city of Nunavut, which is a territory in the far north of Canada. And right now, I would say it's pretty cold, minus 48 maybe.
Yeah.
And it's covered in snow at the moment. But it's a great little city to live in, just because we have a lot more things to do compared to smaller communities in Nunavut. And there's lots of opportunity to play music in different venues, and you know, it's a place to kind of meet new friends and just gather together and create new music.
Whenever we play in Australia and try to explain to people where we're from, we get some very shocked looking faces, and we always often flip it around because they say it's so cold and so dark and so light, and how do you do it? And then we kind of say when we're sweating it's plus 40 here, we're like, how do you live here? But so I think that humans are so adaptable, we can adapt to our surroundings, and we live in a town, it's a small town, and it has every element of a small town. The community, everybody knows each other, we support each other when times are hard, and there's lots of also negative things about a small town. It's hard to kind of see the bigger picture and the bigger world sometimes, but we love living there, and we'll raise our kids there, and it's changing fast, and it's indigenous community that's shaped by colonization, just like lots of places in Australia, like everywhere in Australia. And so there's lots of struggles within that, and lots of people really working to figure out ways for non-indigenous and indigenous communities to understand each other better, and there's often lots of challenges that come out of that, and we're just part of that, and we love living there, and we love to kind of contribute to making it a better place.
I find that I think people sense it, or like they can feel that we're having a great time and we're singing with this energy that, I don't know, some people have come up to us and they said, I absolutely don't understand what you're singing about, but I love the energy that you have, and that's I guess the most important part of it is that people enjoy our music or our performances, and that's all that matters.
I think that English is definitely a barrier. We had lots of experiences of people saying, I really like what you sound like, but because you don't speak in English, or they because they couldn't understand what we were saying, they would kind of not want to formally work together. So, but we're trying to challenge that. There's lots of young artists where we come from that sing in language, and we want to make sure that they have every opportunity to share their music all over the world and be proud to sing their language. We see it as a strength and not necessarily a weakness, and I think that that's something that is challenging. It's not, we face that pressure all the time, but we're finding ways to navigate that and be able to still sing in English. I mean, still sing in language and function in an English-dominant world.
This song is called Uki Uki, and we thank you guys for coming. We're having a good time. Are you guys having a good time? This is Nunavut style. We love it. This song is called Uki Uki.
autumn lights, or in Inuktitut we call it ukilk, which means winter, is kind of a love song. And it's kind of about being out in the cold and making sure that you're dressed warm, and that you are making sure you're taking care of your loved ones, etc. And there's like throat singing mixed into it, and I would say it's a catchy song. Anything more you can say about it?
It's in my head right now when you say it's a catchy song. Yeah, it's there's lots of different elements to it, and you just have to hear it, I think, and it's about struggles in life and how when you lose someone you love, it can be very, very challenging, but where we live, there's so much beauty still within the land, but also the community, and I think that's what we're trying to get out, the message that for young people, that life sucks sometimes, but there's still lots of beauty around you all the time, and you should tap into that, or try to tap into that when you're feeling really down. And so it means many things, and especially when we're working in two different languages, it has lots of different meanings. So, but that's a little bit of it. We're trying to share the beauty of our hometown with people up north, but also all over the world. So that's a little bit about that too.
Traditionally was a friendly competition, so mostly women did it just because men would be out hunting for months at a time. And so it's kind of two women would be singing, and you create sounds, exact same sounds overlapping each other by a little bit, and you create a completely new sound. And a lot of the songs imitate the sounds of nature where we live. And the type that I do is more of a contemporary style of it, so it's kind of blended into the modern music. And yeah, you create sounds using your voice, your throat for the guttural sounds, and a lot of breathing in and out very fast, and different breathing techniques that you use. It can get, it's hard when you start to throat sing for the first time, but once you do it for a while, it becomes much easier to do. It's like I always say, it's like callousing your fingers when you're a guitar player. In the beginning it hurts, but then you get over it, you don't feel pain anymore. So yeah, that's throat singing 101 for you.
Like to add that we're very grateful to be here in Australia, and it's literally across the world. We traveled on planes for 45 hours to get here, waiting in airports, and we're just so thankful to get in touch with the communities across Australia. And I think that what's happening in Canada is non-Indigenous and Indigenous communities are learning about the past and learning about history, and learning about how things are kind of challenging these days, and also learning how to understand each other better. And I just am very grateful to be part of that conversation in Australia, because I think it's an important thing that's happening here too.